Shiva Doya Krishnanam Sarva Dharma Sar. Shiva Doya Krishnanam Sarva Dharma Sar. Bola Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
That's not good.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bola Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Bola Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Premanande Ki Jai. Give him one first. Huh? This next bhajan is about Srimati Radharani. She is the eternal consort of Lord Krishna. She is the personification of Krishna's internal energy of love and devotion. And Radha is very special. She is the fountainhead of mercy. And the description of this song follows. This song was sung by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was a great saintly person in the 16th century, a direct disciple of Lord Chaitanya, or Krishna. He is the real person, actual person, to understand Radha and Krishna. So he says, all glories to Radharani. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. She's so dear to Krishna. Krishna. Everyone is trying to love Krishna, but Krishna is trying to love somebody. Now, how great is she? Just try to understand. Everyone, the whole world, the whole universe, all living entities, they are trying to love Krishna. Krishna prema, pure love for Krishna. However, Krishna himself is loving Radharani. Lord Chaitanya describes, Prema Pumartha Mahan. The highest goal of life is to attain pure love of Krishna. And Rupa Goswami described that you are distributing Krishna prema. Lord Chaitanya came in this world to spread love for Krishna. So Krishna prema, or love for Krishna, is so valuable. But Krishna is seeking the love of Radharani. Just see how Radharani is great. Rani means queen, so she's the queen of Vrindavana, the holy abode of Krishna. Just try to understand the greatness of Radharani. Therefore, she is so great, and we have to offer our respect to her. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. How great is she? Goluka Taruni Mandala Mahite. Taruni means young girls. You see the pictures. They are all young girls, cowherd girls. But of all the young girls, she is the most beautiful. She is enchanting to the young girls also. She is so beautiful. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite, Damodararati Vardhanavese. And she always dresses herself so nicely that Damodara, or Krishna, becomes attracted by her beauty. Hari Niskuta Vrinda Vipinese. And she is the only lovable object of Krishna. And she is the queen of Vrindavana. This queen of Vrindavana, you'll find, if you go to Vrindavana, everyone is worshipping Radharani. Rani means queen. They are always speaking, Jaya Radhe, Radharani ki jai. All the devotees in Vrindavana, they are worshippers of Radharani. Hari Niskuta Vrinda Vipinese, Rishabhanudadi Navalsasi Leke. And she appeared as the daughter of King Rishabhanu and her companion, Lalita Saki and Vishaka Saki, and the devotees. So on behalf of the pure devotees of Krishna, Rupa Goswami is praying, Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite. Oh, my dear worshipable Radharani, you are full of mercy. So I am begging your mercy because you are so merciful. Very easily you bestow your mercy. So I am begging for your mercy. Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Now, somebody may say, oh, you are such a great learned scholar. You're such a great saintly person. And you are begging mercy from an ordinary cowherd girl? How is that? Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, oh, this is not an ordinary girl. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. This girl's description is possible to be made by great saintly persons, like Sanaka and Sanatana. She is not ordinary. So the lesson is that we should not treat Radharani as an ordinary cowherd girl, or Krishna as an ordinary cowherd man, or an ordinary person. They are the supreme absolute truth. But in the absolute truth, there is the pleasure potency, and that is exhibited in the dealings of Radha and Krishna. And Radha's expansion are all the gopis, the cowherd girls, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So this very beautiful bhajan, or holy chant, is all about the sacred couple which you see here, Radha and Krishna. You see how beautiful Radharani is and how beautiful Krishna is. This should be the object of our meditation. If you meditate on the beauty of Radha and Krishna, you become pure. Gokula Tarundi Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Gokula Tarundi Mandala Mahite Damodara Rati Vardhana Vese Hari Niskuta Vrinda Vibhine Damodara Rati Vardhana Vese Hari Niskuta Vrinda Vibhine Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Maite Gokula Taruni Mandala Maite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Maite Gokula Taruni Mandala Maite Vishabhanudadi Navasasi Leke Hari Dalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Vishabhanudadi Navasasi Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Maite Karuna Guru Mai Karuna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Karuna Guru Mai Karuna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Jaya Madhava Krishna Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Hare. What were you thinking about? I know Krishna. This is the lecture today. It's on my computer. This next bhajan, or holy chant, is all about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the incarnation of Krishna, who came 500 years ago and spread the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord. So when you chant Krishna's name, you're associating directly with him. If you chant Coca-Cola, it's different than the substance Coca-Cola. But if you chant Hare Krishna, it's non-different than Krishna. Therefore, we always chant the names of Krishna. Sometimes people say, you chant the same thing all the time. Why don't you chant something different? Well, we have hundreds and thousands of bhajans that we can chant. But we especially like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Why do we like it so much? Because as you chant, you have a feeling well-being, because there's a certain warmth that evolves by the presence of the Lord in his holy name. And the meaning of the mantra is, O dear Srimati Radharani, Hare, that refers to Radha. O dear Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And O Rama, also, it refers to Lord Rama, the hero of the Ramayana, and it also refers to Krishna, who's non-different than Lord Rama, and Lord Rama is non-different than Krishna, as the reservoir of all pleasure. So when you put these three words together, Hare Krishna, let's repeat that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It means, oh dear Krishna and oh dear Radharani, please protect me so that I can always be your the necessary. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More yakoro mole tomadina kedolayu jagat samsara Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda bolo, Hari Gopala bolo. Hey bolo, Govinda bolo, Hari Gopala bolo. Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda bolo. Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda bolo. Govinda bolo, Gopala bolo. Bolo, Govinda bolo, Gopala bolo. Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda bolo. Radha Ramana bolo. Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Goda Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Goda Hari Bol, Nita Goda. Nitai Gaur Premanande Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Granth Raj Ki Jai. Bolo Shri Krishna Bhagavan Ki Jai. He has the sheets to that. Tell him to bring it, give it back. Hare Krishna. So tonight we're going to hear about the struggle for existence. This is a very interesting topic because it is familiar to everyone. We are all struggling in one way or other for existence in this world. Thank you. So you can follow what I'm going to say on the screen. The soul is eternal. It was never born and can never die. This is established in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, "Na jayate mriyate va kadacha nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. Ajo nitya sasvatam yam purano hanyate hanyamane sarire." So Krishna says, for the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. The soul has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. The soul is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So this is the baseline bedrock knowledge that every one of us has an eternal soul, but at the present moment it's entrapped in a temporary body. This duality between the soul and the body is confusing for most people. And most people never understand the difference between the soul and the body, and therefore they have no chance for self-realization and for liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So the Bhagavad Gita, this, you could call it the Bible of India, it's the most famous scripture in all of India. It explains, right in the beginning, the nature of the soul, because this is the first step one needs to take for spiritual life, is to understand the difference between the soul and the body. So in material life, all living entities, including human beings, experience the hard struggle for existence. Why should the eternal soul, which cannot be destroyed, struggle for existence? By understanding the answer to this question, we'll open the door to enlightenment. If we can understand this, why we're struggling when we have an eternal soul that's not subject to suffering, it's not subject to birth, old age, disease, death, but yet we're struggling like anything to maintain a temporary body with all kinds of convoluted desires for sense gratification. In material life, we experience a struggle to overcome the impediments encountered in material nature, such as hunger, thirst, old age, disease, poverty, loneliness, death, etc. Bewildered by the illusory power of material nature, people work very hard to control it. They consider their so-called heroic efforts. Okay, the children have to be quiet. Bewildered by the illusory power of material nature, people work very hard. Okay, children have to be quiet, please. Bewildered by the illusory power of material nature, people work very hard to control it. They consider their so-called heroic efforts to dominate nature and other people to be happiness and their primary purpose in life. This is the fundamental misconception referred to as Maya, the illusion that keeps people bound up in the cycle of birth and death, or as we say in Sanskrit, samsara. Mindless of Krishna's inconceivable powers and authority, such illusioned persons look to logic, reason, and material science as the panacea for all problems. They are living in a fool's paradise, depending on methods and techniques that will never succeed. How can they control Krishna's divine material energy or nature, which is impossible to overcome or comprehend fully? So this is explained by Krishna himself, 7th chapter, 14th verse of the Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Daivihi esa gunamayi, mama maya duratyaya, mam evaye padyante, mayam etam tarantite. He says, this divine energy of mine, he says, gunamayi in Sanskrit. He's calling the material nature his divine energy. Why? Because matter comes from Krishna. He says in the 7th chapter, 4th verse of Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhirevacha ahankara ityame bina pakritirastata. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are my 8 separated inferior spiritual energy called matter. And therefore, it's impossible to overcome the divine energy of Krishna. He says, however, but those who are surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So, we see that something that's impossible becomes possible by surrendering to God. Now, everyone is surrendering to something or someone. You surrender to income tax. You surrender to speeding tickets. You surrender to your husband or your wife. Husband and wife surrender to their children. Everyone's surrendering. You surrender to your team leader or the CEO of the company that you work for. Everyone is surrendering. You surrender ultimately to old age, disease, and death. So, rather than being forced to surrender to these things, which we are being forced to, isn't it better to choose who you surrender to? Therefore, Krishna's name is Mukunda. We should surrender to Mukunda because he's the giver of liberation from birth, old age, disease, and death. That's the smart choice in life. Surrender to someone who can genuinely help you or help us overcome the real problems of life. The real problems of life, birth, old age, disease, and death. The real problems are not political, social, economic, military, etc. The real problem is, from the moment we're born, we begin to die, and we don't know when it's going to happen. And we have a baggage from previous lives called karma, good things and bad things that are going to happen to us, and we don't know when it's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty in human life. You don't know until it happens. You might have a mixed bag of good and bad karmic reactions, and they're going to happen sooner or later. So, Krishna guarantees, he says, Sarvadharman purityaja mamekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksisyami masuchas. 18th chapter, 66th verse of Bhagavad Gita. He says, give up all your fabricated concepts of life and just surrender unto me. If you do this, I promise you that I will free you from all your previous karma, good and bad, so that you can surrender to me and serve me, and I promise that I'll protect you. Therefore, you have nothing to fear, nothing to hesitate for, and nothing to doubt. So, Krishna is the only person that can free us of our karma. Nobody else can do that. Trump can't do it. Putin can't do it. I can't do it. But Krishna can. Because he made the law of the karma. Action and reaction for what we do. And we see that all the time. People make mistakes, they have to pay for the mistake. People do some good things, they're rewarded for their good things. But both things keep us in the world of birth and death. If you have good karma, you have to take birth again to get the good karma. If you have bad karma, you have to take birth again to take the bad karma. And good karma is not going to really solve the problem of birth and death. It simply promotes us from being a third-class prisoner in this material world to a second or first-class prisoner. But you're still prisoner to the cycle of birth and death. So therefore, Krishna says, surrender unto me, sharanam, and I will free you from this whole vicious cycle of samsara and karma. We are being controlled by time, by the laws of karma, by the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, by bad habits, meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit connections outside of marriage. We're being controlled by three types of miseries. Miseries caused by this body, miseries caused by other bodies, and miseries caused by cataclysmic events, tsunamis, earthquakes, etc. Diseases and so forth. So we're being controlled by all these things. How can we be successful through science, through logic, through reasoning? It's not possible. Could the United States stop Hurricane Katrina? No. You can't stop a hurricane. You can't stop a tsunami. You can't stop an earthquake. So what is our power? You see, our power is when we surrender to God. Then we can overcome these things. We can control our mind and our senses. We can control our passions. We can control our desires. Instead of desiring foolish things like going to Las Vegas, going to Disneyland, we can control those desires and say, I'm going to the temple. I'm going to the holy land of Vrindavan. Then there's some benefit. Is there any benefit in going to Disneyland? The only benefit is you lose your money. It costs a lot of money. Is there any benefit going to the casino? No, the casinos keep getting bigger. That means more and more people are losing money. So you have to be crazy to walk into a casino. It's this money suctioning machine. And it's your money if you're dumb enough to walk into the casino. So therefore, why waste our time with useless endeavors? Rather, come to the temple and learn how you can attain immortality in this lifetime. That's the most precious gift that you can receive or give to your loved ones. So here, it says, you cannot overcome Krishna's divine energy, the material nature, no matter what you do. Science, mathematics, theoretical physics. By the way, theoretical physics is complete nonsense because you can't prove if it's true or false. People just come, like Stephen Hawking, he just came up with theories in his whole life. Black holes. No one can ever go into a black hole because they'll never come out of it. They can't tell you what it's like. They can't even tell you if it exists. It's like tasting cyanide. No, cyanide does not have a taste because no one who's ever taken cyanide has lived to tell you what it tastes like. You see. So the same thing with theoretical physics. They come up with all these theories, but there's no way to prove if they're true or false. Okay. So the false sense of egotism, identified by selfishness and possessiveness, the I, me, and mine syndrome, has been given too much importance. It has led to the continual struggle for existence in human society due to fierce competition to control assets and people. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada clarifies the struggle for existence. He says, people are suffering here. Manak sastan indriyani prakriti stani karsati. This is 15th chapter, 7th verse of Bhagavad Gita, which says, it says that Mamaivam sa jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana. All living entities are my mama eva amsa, my part and parcel. In other words, we all come from God. God is the origin of everything. He's also the origin of our soul. We emanate from God as a unique individual. He's also a unique individual. And that individuality, as he says in the 2nd chapter, 12th verse, Nattveva ham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha, is eternal. We were never born and will never die. We existed before entering this particular body, will exist in the body, and will exist after the body dies. That means that our soul is eternal in the past, in the present, and in the future. However, we are all struggling in this material body due to the mind. He says, Prakriti stani karsati. Now, they have, or people have somehow or other, come in contact with this material nature, and each and every one of these living entities, they are having a hard struggle for existence. Under the spell of the illusory energy, they are thinking we are happy. Although the whole day and night, they are unhappy. Their desires are not fulfilled. They want something, but they are forced to accept something else. This is going on. This is called the hard struggle for existence. Nobody's satisfied. There's always disruption. In this moment, I'm your friend. Next moment, I'm your enemy. This moment, I'm your husband or wife. Next moment, no, don't see my face. I'll not see your face. Divorce. So these things are going on. This is called the struggle for existence. I am wanting something, but I am accepting, I'm forcefully being bound to accept something else. This is called the struggle for existence. So, this struggle for existence makes people frustrated. And this is explained also in 1st chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Nachasaknomi avastitam. It says, Arjuna is lamenting to Krishna. He says, I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. So, this word in Sanskrit, viparitani pasyami niparitani Keshava, he says, I began with an expectation of being happy, but to my great disappointment, I see only defeat in my activities. Now, this is going to happen to everyone. Ultimately, we're going to be defeated by old age, disease, and death, no matter how successful we are in life. Therefore, the complete opposite of what we expect will normally happen in material nature. Therefore, by the force of nature's laws of karma, people are compelled to accept something other than what they want. They remain dissatisfied, frustrated, resentful, hateful, reclusive, and negative. This is the formula for unhappiness. We eventually may learn that we are not the ultimate controller. We are controlled by time, the laws of nature, karma, the three modes of nature, misconceptions. Okay, children have to be quiet, please. Namarata, can you control? The four defects of every living entity, three types of suffering, other living entities, and natural catastrophes. weapons of mass distraction like social media, illicit sex, drugs, gambling, speculation, eating flesh. We surrender to all these willingly or unwillingly due to ignorance. So we're being controlled by all these things. The unexpected paradox of life is that we may free ourselves of these nasty controllers by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Our position is to be controlled either by force of ignorance and illusion to the above controllers, or if we willingly choose to surrender to Lord Krishna, we become free of the struggle for existence. Lord Krishna is the ultimate controller of all controllers. He can remove all obstacles to our surrender to Him and eventual liberation from all constraining material conditions. And there are 3 verses here from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna explains that. He says, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Then he says, hey Arjuna, always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. And then Krishna says, those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. So, we must understand the futility of reading speculative literatures of imperfect thinkers like novelists, philosophers, theoretical physicists, and mathematicians. Their theories and imaginary speculations are no more than useless type of entertainment on the level of a comic book or a Disney movie for children. Most, if not all, of the so-called great literature of this world is simply meant for entertainment rather than useful information for complete liberation from the struggle for existence in the material world. The great writers can elaborately chronicle the struggle for existence, but they give no practical information for liberation from the dire circumstances of karmic entanglement in the cycle of birth and death. So, there are so many books in a library, but they don't explain how to become free of the struggle for existence. In fact, the struggle for existence goes on regardless who you vote for, to be president or senator or representative or MP or etc. They all promise, oh, we'll help you in this way, we'll help you in that. But in the end, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. And that is the history of the material world as long as we ignore God and ignore God's instructions. If you buy a new cell phone, let's say Apple 7 or Apple 8, right? There's an instruction booklet that comes with it. If you read the instruction booklet carefully, you'll be able to use that telephone or that cell phone to a maximum. If you ignore it and just tear it up and throw it away, don't read it, then you're not going to get the maximum use from the phone. And you might even make mistakes that can ruin the phone. So, the same way, whoever made this world also gave a booklet of instruction. It's called the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita specifically to help us overcome the struggle for existence. Now, why were we put into this world? Obviously, we were put here because no one can remember choosing to be born. We were forced to do that. No one's choosing to get old. No one's choosing to get sick. No one's choosing to die except crazy people. Therefore, these things are forced on us. Now, why? Why have they been forced on us? Whenever there's suffering, it's a message that we made a mistake. Just like when a policeman stops you for speeding, he's going to cause you suffering. He's going to give you a ticket. You have to appear before a judge if you want to contest the ticket. And the more tickets you get, eventually they'll take your license away from you. And if you keep driving, they'll take your car away from you and put you in jail. So suffering is a message to us that we've made a mistake. Now the problem is, we can't remember the mistake because it happened in previous lives. Therefore, we have to go to an expert. Just like if you have a legal problem, would you choose to represent yourself in the court instead of a lawyer? Crazy people do. But people who have half a wit understand, I better get the best lawyer I can find to help me. So in the same way, who's going to answer the question, what mistake we made, for which we're suffering right now? When that mistake happened in a previous life, who can tell us what the mistake is? Krishna tells us. He tells us there are 4 fundamental mistakes that people make out of ignorance. They eat meat, fish, eggs, and murgi. That's probably the worst. They gamble and speculate. Speculate doesn't mean only the stock market. Speculate means someone asks you a question, you don't know the answer, you make one up. That's called speculation. Right? Whenever you start your answer with, I think, maybe, let's suppose that, that means you're speculating. You don't know the answer. Just like if you go to a doctor, he says, oh, we have to do a MRI, then we have to do an X-ray, then we have to take blood sample and send it to a laboratory for a test. So after all those things, and waiting 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you go to the doctor and say, okay, doc, what's the answer? He said, well, it might be this, and it might be that, and it might be something else also. Now, what the hell did you make me go through all this if you can't tell me what's wrong? You understand? That means he's not a doctor. Just like I say in Hindi, mixed Hindi and Urdu, Neem Hakim Khatrejan. Half doctor means no doctor. Half doctor means you're going to be dead. You see. So we want to have an answer. Why are we suffering today? And what mistakes did we make in the past that's causing the suffering today? There are 4 fundamental mistakes people make out of ignorance. Like I said, meat eating, then gambling and speculation, not only on the stock market, but speculation philosophically. You don't know the answer, you make it up. Then number 3 is intoxication, including coffee and tea. Including coffee and tea. And of course, medical marijuana and all the rest. And number 4 is illicit connections outside of marriage. These are 4 deadly bad habits. I never met a person who died because they gave these things up, but I met many people who later on died because they were addicted to these 4 things. Would you agree? Yeah. I saw my own father die. He smoked 6 packs of Chesterfield cigarettes a day and drank 12 cups of coffee a day. How long can you live if you do that? Not very long. He died before he was even 56 years old. So, these are the mistakes that we've made in the past, and we still make those mistakes today out of ignorance. How many Hindus do I see with meat in their shopping cart at the Safeway or the QFC? How many Hindus do I see with a wine bottle in their shopping cart? How many Hindus go to the casino to gamble? And how many Hindus nowadays have marijuana parties? Even here in Sammamish. So, we need to go back to our roots. Go back to Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is the eternal duty we have to God and to ourselves and to our ancestors. If you really love your relatives who have passed away, if you really love your ancestors, if you love your culture, then you must become a Krishna Bhakta. Because that's the culture. Bhakta means servant of God. This is what sustained India for millions of years. India is not like Iran, 6,000 or 5,000-year-old history. India has a history that goes back to Ramayana 1.78 million years ago. It goes back to Vivaswan or Surya Narayana hundreds and millions of years ago. The Bible only goes back 3,500 years. Quran hardly 1,500 years. Buddhism hardly 2,500 years. Jainism hardly 2,500 years. Right? Microsoft hardly 30 years. See, Bhagavad Gita was first spoken 2 million years ago to the first king. It was Manu spoke it to Ikshvaku, the first king of the solar dynasty in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. And then Krishna spoke the same Bhagavad Gita again 5,000 years ago to Arjuna. Why? Because the Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, had deteriorated at that time. And there was a big war, the Mahabharata war. Therefore, Krishna had to speak it again. Paritranayam sadhanam vinasaya chidiskritam dharma samstarpanartaya sambhavami atma mayaya. So whenever there's a decline in religious practice and a concomitant rise of irreligion, at that time, Krishna says, I come, why? To deliver the devotees, to destroy the miscreants, and to reestablish the principles of religion. So Krishna has come many times. He came as Nrsimha Bhagavan to save his devotee Prahlad Maharaj. He came as Matsya, the fish, the gigantic fish, to save the Vedas from destruction. He came as Varaha to save the earth because the demons were making major holes into the crust of the earth, and it destroyed the internal balance of airs and oil. See, just like today, they're doing the same thing. They're extracting a huge amount of oil, and to fill that gap, they're putting water in it. Water is heavier than oil. It destroys the equilibrium of the earth. Because of that, it can move on its axis. It could move off balance on its axis, and it can fall in the universe to the Garbhodak ocean. Therefore, Varaha came, and he went down into the Garbhodak ocean and picked up the earth on his tusks and put it back into orbit. At the same time, he had to fight Hiranyaksha, and later on Hiranyakashipu, to save Prahlad Maharaj. Then Krishna also comes as the Kurma avatar, a turtle, a gigantic turtle. Why? Because turtles can't scratch their back, and Kurma had an itchy back, and the Devas and the Asuras wanted to have a contest, a tug-of-war contest. So they got a mountain, and they put it in the ocean, and they tied Vasuki, this heavenly snake, around it like a rope, and they started churning the ocean. It was the ocean of milk, by the way. They started churning the ocean, and the mountain fell down because it's heavy. So in order to help the Devas and the Asuras finish their contest, Krishna appeared as Kurma avatar, went down and picked up the mountain on his back, and when they started churning, the itch on his back was satisfied. You see, many things happen. And they churned the ocean of milk, and out came Dhanvantari and Airavata and Uchisrava, and so many different wonderful things came out, and also Hala Hala, the poison that could destroy the whole universe. And Lord Shiva came and sipped it up and held it in his neck. Therefore, his nickname is Nilakanta. He has a very blue streak on his neck. That's where he held that poison. And he saved the universe from destruction. But when Dhanvantari came out with a kamandalu full of amrit, Amrit is the elixir of immortality. And he's the father of Ayurveda. Ayur means longevity, Veda means knowledge, knowledge of longevity, how to live a long, healthy life. So at that time, the demons stole the pot of nectar. So this was a very great danger. Imagine if Stalin could live forever, or Bush could live forever, or Saddam Hussein could live forever, or any one of the dictators. It would be a great tragedy for the earth. So what happened? Krishna came again as Mohini Murti, the most beautiful, bewitching, charming woman. And demons, they like pretty women. So all the demons became bewildered by the beauty of Mohini, and she said, my dear demons, give me that pot of nectar, and I promise you, I'm going to distribute it equally between the Devas and you, my dear friends, the Asuras. But they were so bewildered by her beauty, they gave her the pot of Amrit. And she said, now all the Devas sit on this side, all the Asuras sit on that side. And I'll begin with the Devas, and I'll give one drop to everyone. So one of the demons, whose name was Rahu, said, wait a minute, this is nonsense. She's going to cheat us. She doesn't want to give one drop to any of us. Don't believe a word. But the other demons were so bewildered by the beauty of Mohini, they said, no, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Go away. Go take a long walk on a short pier. So Rahu, he disguised himself as a Deva and sat with the Devas. And now Mohini Murti was giving one drop to the Devas, and accidentally she gave one to Rahu. But then she manifested her form as Lord Vishnu and threw the chakra and cut his head off. And his head flew into the sky, and one drop of blood came out from his lips and one drop of saliva. That drop of blood became lasan, and the drop of saliva became pyaz, garlic and onion. That's why Vaishnavas never eat garlic and onion. Only demons eat garlic and onion. Why? Because it makes their blood hot, and then they become very passionate, and then they fight. Just like I had a friend of mine, he was a Sindhi. One day he was telling me when his sister got married in Mumbai, after the wedding was over, Vivaha was over, they were having a dinner. During the dinner, a big fight broke out between the two sides of the family, the groom's family and the bride's family, and it became very vicious, and the bride's father said, I annul the marriage, and took his girl away. After the marriage was over, and right when they were celebrating the marriage, right? That's called raga, rajasic. It's rajasic, it's passionate, right? Too much onion and garlic, then you do things like that. Okay, so now the point is, we need to study Bhagavad Gita and the Holy Scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam to understand what the truth is. You're not going to study the truth in Karl Marx's Das Kapital. You're not going to understand the truth by reading Harry Potter. You're not going to understand the truth by watching television. You're not going to understand the truth by watching Bollywood movies or Hollywood movies. But you will understand the truth if you hear from a bona fide devotee Ramayana, Mahabharata, especially Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita is Shruti. Shruti means spoken directly by God. Mahabharata is Smriti, spoken about God by his devotees. But one part of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita, one chapter. That's Krishna speaking directly, answering every one of Arjuna's questions about life, about who is God, who are we, that means Ishvara, Jiva, what is time, Kala, what is this material nature, Prakriti, and what should I do in life, Karma. he answers these questions perfectly and clears away all of Arjuna's doubts. Because in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna refused to fight. He said, I'm a pacifist. I'm a non-violent person. I'm following Gandhi. Krishna said, that's nonsense. Look what happened. They followed Gandhi, and the Hindus were thrown out of Pakistan. Right? Everything they had lived there for hundreds of generations, they were thrown out. They said, get out. You have 24 hours and only take one bag, nothing else. Does that make sense? I saw a movie, a documentary, not a movie, a documentary. They interviewed the son, a gentleman who was in his 80s in Delhi. He was born in Pakistan, in Lahore. And his father was a politician. It wasn't Pakistan at that time, it was India. And he saw his father murdered. In the Muslim, Muslims came into the Hindu neighborhoods and started murdering people, especially the men. And then he and his mother and his sister, they had to walk to India with only what they could carry. And oftentimes they were robbed if they had any money. Or worse than that, we won't talk about that. So they were interviewing him. He was in his 80s and he was remembering all these things. And they showed the picture of his father. Then this film was made in this documentary was made in India. Then they interviewed the man that killed his father. He was still alive, a Muslim in Lahore. And they said, sir, we know that you murdered this man's father. What do you think? He said, what do I think? I'm happy I did it. I'd do it again. It was a shocking thing. Right on in the documentary, he said, I'll do it again. He said, those people don't belong in our country. And he went on for about 2 or 3 minutes talking all kinds of rubbish things. Then they interviewed the son. And he said, you know, this was the worst thing a child could see, what happened to us. We saw so much murder, we saw so much suffering, but then we saw something that I'll never forget the rest of my life. He said, when we were approaching the border of India, we saw another caravan of people coming in the opposite direction. They were Muslims that lived in India's Punjab. And they were walking this way, and we were walking that way. And when they saw us, they stopped, and when we saw them, we stopped. And we just looked at each other. We didn't speak. I'll never forget the look on the face of those people. And I'm sure they'll never forget our look. We were all bewildered. We could understand their suffering. They could understand our suffering. He said, I can never forget the look on their faces. It was the worst thing I ever saw in my life. He said, this is the nature of the material world. And you ask older people, young people say, oh, I'm so happy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I have a great future. But you ask older people who have seen their relatives die, who have seen war, maybe, hopefully not, but who have seen it, they'll tell you, look, there may be some happiness, but there's a lot of suffering also. And there's more suffering than happiness as you get older. You see? So the question is, how can we stop this? Krishna is explaining very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita how you can stop it. You give up the 4 pillars of sin: meat eating, gambling and speculation, intoxication, and illicit connections outside of marriage. Those are the 4 pillars of sin. These are the 4 things that people do that get them into trouble and create a very, very dark future. And you should take up 4 things that you should do. This is, in Sanskrit, it's called yama and niyama. The 4 things we should do: we should regularly chant the name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Because the name of Krishna and Krishna are not different. Therefore, you're associating directly with Krishna Bhagavan by chanting his holy names. Don't take it from me. Take it from Tulsidas. Take it from Narsi Mehta. Take it from Sudama Vipra. Take it from Vyasadeva. Take it from Narada Muni. Take it from all the great acharyas. They'll say that they've all said the same thing. The Alvars, Ramanujacharya, Yamunacharya, they all have said the same thing. That the name of Krishna or Narayana is non-different than the Lord. And when you chant the name, you're directly associating with the Lord. And then come to the temple regularly. Bow down before Krishna. Offer to Krishna something. Fruit, ghee, something. Pray to Krishna. Now prayer is very important. A prayer is not, give me something. I have a backache, please take the backache away. My son needs to pass the SAT test, the SAT test. Let him pass the test. My business is not doing good. Make my business good. That's not a prayer. That's business. That's Banya business. It has nothing to do with praying to God. If you want to know what a prayer is, here's a prayer. We'll read one prayer from Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna says in the 11th chapter, he says to Krishna, Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadaye tvamaham isam idyam piteva putrasya sakeva sakyu priya priya yarhasi deva sodum. He says, you are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a wife the familiarity of her partner, please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done you. Then Arjuna says, Pitasya lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujas chagurur gariyan natvat samosti abhyadika kutonyo loka trayepi apratima prabhava. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? This is a prayer. Verse 43 in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's glorifying God. To be able to pray like this, you have to know something, right? You can't make it up. Give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. That's not a prayer. This is a prayer. When you know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you glorify Him. All the great acharyas, it can be the Alvars, it could be Vyasadeva himself, it can be Narada Muni, it can be Ramanujacharya, it can be Nimbarkacharya, it can be Vishnu Swami, it can be all these great acharyas, Lord Chaitanya, they all glorified Krishna by citing his glories. So, we come to the temple, we bow down and pray to the Lord, and we do seva. This is what we learn in the temple. Seva is our real connection to God. Seva means serving the Lord. And it doesn't matter what the seva is. So many people come here, ladies come here, they make beautiful flower garlands, as you see right now. Those are fresh garlands. Every day we make the garlands. And we have so many devotees cooking for the Lord, preparing the vegetables and so many things in the kitchen. So many people come and volunteer. Then we go out on Harinam Nagar Sankirtan, chanting the holy name of Krishna. Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma for this age. The easy way by which you can go back to Godhead, simply by chanting the names of Lord in public in helping the innocent people in this world have contact with Krishna. And you can help in the kitchen, you can help clean the temple, you can help serve our cows in our farm, do go seva. All these, there's so many ways of serving, of becoming a sevak. That is our essential connection to God. If you love someone, you serve them. That's why, if you love God, you will come and serve. That's why the deity is here, to accept your service. Every day we wake up early in the morning, we have Mangal Arti. It's the most wonderful experience to wake up early before the sunrise. And there's no telephones, and there's no whiz, whiz, whiz cars going up and down, and there's no absolute, let's say, a deadline. And the peace of the morning, we come and we thank Krishna, we bow down, we chant Hare Krishna, and we do Arti to the Lord. And then we have Tulsi Arti. And then we have Japa, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then we have class, hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we're ready to go out into the world and work, because the heart has become purified. And we have good imagery in the mind. Then we're ready. So this was the original life in India. People in the village, before they go out to the fields or before they do any business, first they go to the temple. And then when they come home, they take a bath, and then they go to the temple again in the night to see the evening arti and to hear the Krishna Katha or Ram Katha. And on the way home, they're not talking about Trump, they're not talking about this one, that one, they're talking about Rama or Krishna or Bharat or Lakshman or Sita Devi or Kunti Devi. Say, this is what sustained India, not for a few thousand years, for millions of years. This was the original culture. So why have we built a temple? So that same culture can continue. The culture of Sanatan Dharma, eternal service, dutiful service to the Lord. So thank you very much. We'll stop right there. Any questions? Anybody have a question? There should be one question. The whole Bhagavad Gita is all about questions and answers. If Arjuna did not ask Krishna any question, Krishna would not have given any answer. Go ahead, Ganapati, ask a question. You take the side of the demons, ask a question. What? Okay. Any question? Don't ask me what the stock market is going to do Monday morning. I don't know. Yes, ma'am. Duality.
Yeah, what is that
Duality,
duality?
okay, you're saved. Yeah. Duality is like this. Should I marry this person or that person? Should I live in India or should I live in America? Should I invest in this stock or that stock? Should I punish my child for doing something wrong, or should I not punish my child for doing something wrong? Should I get angry at my husband, or should I not get angry at my husband? Should I work for Microsoft or Google? You see, this is duality. Every minute of our life, we're faced with these dualities. And duality is only in the material world because it's there to confuse us. And we're all bewildered by dualities. Like, I go to the bank, I think I have $1,000 in the bank. I put my credit card in the ATM machine, and instead of money coming out, a piece of paper comes out and says, "We have seized your card because there's no money in your account." You say, ever happened to you? You say, so that's duality. You went with a big expectation of getting money and being happy, and now you're frustrated with no money. They took your card away from you. You say, these are dualities. People are faced with these dualities all the time. Just like You tell someone, I love you, and they say, I love you. 5 years later, you say, I hate you, and they say, I hate you. That's duality, you see. These things confuse us. In the spiritual world, there's no duality. Why? Because everybody loves Krishna. Everyone's surrendered to Krishna. Therefore, whatever Krishna says, they'll do. You see? But that's here also. If you love someone, then whatever they ask you to do, you'll do. Like if you love your mother and she says, you know, I'm getting old, please get me this special pillow. I hear it advertised all the time on the radio. You can sleep better on that. Get me that pillow because I'm having trouble sleeping. Well, you'll go and buy that pillow, right? Because you love your mother. There's no duality when there's love. There's only the urgency to please the person we love. But when there's no love, there's plenty of duality. Does that answer your question? Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop right there. And we'll just make a few announcements. You know, we have recently made an offer on a farm, a beautiful place where we will keep our milking cows. We'll still have our farm in Redmond, but there's a second farm in Auburn Black Diamond. And tonight we want to thank Krishna Kumar Venkatesan and his wife Sharmila, or Krishna Murli Das and Shaki Priya Dasi. They have donated $2,001. We want to thank also Ramesh Chand and Suruj Chand. They've donated $2,000 for the farm. We want to thank Srinivasa Reddy Mali Peddy. He's a devotee of the temple. He and his family have donated $2,016. We want to thank Arun and his good wife, Rangachari. He's donated $2,000. Thank you, Arun Prabhu. We want to thank Nalini Kovi. She has donated $500 for the farm. We want to thank Krishna Goody Mendi and his family. They've donated $5,000. We want to thank Kasturi Bonam. She's donated $101. Ravi Govind Prabhu is donated $501. Sundar Pasupati, he's donated $2,000. Pankaj Chopade, he's donated $3,000. And his wife Minal. Gupta Kongagala, he's donated $1,001. Oh, I'm sorry. Sundar Pasupati has donated $2,001, right? And his wife, Krishna Murli Das, has donated $2,001. Okay, we already said that. And our young boys in the temple, who are members of the Bhima Sen Boys Club, they've donated $900. And we want to thank Aditya. No last name? Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know that. $501. Kasturi Bonam and Chandrasekhar Pasupuleti, they've donated $101. And a friend of ours named Raj, who works in Boeing, he's donated $2,000. And one person who's anonymous, they donated $1,000. Tonight, the sponsors of our feast are Sunira Raj Bandhan, in the memory of her grandfather, Venkat Kulkarni, Julie Madhusudanan, and on the occasion of Vishnu, the Malayanam New Year. Yeah. And of course, Gupta Kongala, this is his birthday, so we have a present for him and a cake. Anytime you want to see our new farm, we have visitation of the farm on Saturdays, leaving here around 1 o'clock. You're welcome to come. And upcoming a festival, Sita Navami, or Sita Devi's appearance, and Narasingha Chaturdasi. So, thank you very much. And now we'll have our Arti ceremony. Hare Krishna. And now we have a new family that has visited our temple tonight. And we have a gift for you. This is not a bribe. It's a friendly gesture. So thank you very much for coming to the temple. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Stop those girls. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Shrimad Sudhan. Gopala Govinda Ram Shrimad Sudhan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Bolo 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 Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan. Hey, bolo Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan. Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Hey, bolo ya Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Bolo Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Hey, bolo Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Bolo Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Bolo Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Bolo Bhagavata Gita, Bhagavata Gita. Hey, bolo Bhagavata Gita, Bhagavata Gita. Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gopala Govinda Ram, Shima Madhusudan. Gopala Govinda Ram, Shima Madhusudan. Gopala Govinda Ram, Shima Madhusudan. Giri Kali Gopinath, Madana Mohan. Oh, Giri Kali Gopinath, Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan, Bolo Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan, Bolo Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan, Hey Bolo Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan. Hey Bolo Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan. Hey Bolo Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhaja Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Hey Bhaja Gopala, Bhaja Govinda, Govinda, Gopala. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey Gopal, hey Gopal, hey Gopal, hey Gopal. Hey Gopal, 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 hey Gopal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste. Nrsimha, Bhai Nrsimha, Hridaya Nrsimha, Narashinamani Saranama Prapade. Tavakara Kamala Bare Natyam Adhuta Shinha Hiranyakashipu Tanu Vriga Narashingadev, Narashingadev. Haribol, 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 Haribol. Shingadev Bhagavan ki jai, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajak Shri Shrimadi's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Shri Guru Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Govindanath Sankara Radha Kundu Kundu Vedam ki jai, Vrindavan ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Jagannathpur Dham ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Samadeva Bhakti Devi ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premananda, Nitai Gaura Premananda, Nitai Gaura Premananda. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Ram, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. We want to thank everyone for coming tonight, taking part in our regular Sunday festival. Every day is a festival in Krishna consciousness. So every night we have chanting, dancing, and feasting, the three major prongs of Bhakti Yoga. You can go back to Godhead simply by eating. Simply by eating Mahaprasadam. It has to be Mahaprasadam, not Wimpy's, not McDonald's, but Mahaprasadam of Krishna's. So if you come to the temple and bow down to Krishna and take Mahaprasadam, you are on the fast track to go back to Godhead. Just keep coming every day. It's all free. Krishna consciousness is the kitchen religion. We're always cooking for Krishna. This is one thing the Sadarjis have imitated from Vaishnavism. It's called langar. That's okay. We want people to imitate this. Yes. But what we want most of all, they imitate chanting Hare Krishna. This is the best imitation. So thank you very much. And now we're going to invite some of the ladies to come and chant beautiful bhajans. The ladies sing better than the men.
There's a birthday program. I think there's a birthday somebody's having.
Oh, we have a birthday. We'll finish the birthday first.
And then there's a DOS graduation ceremony after this.
Really? Why didn't you tell me before?
People are waiting. I don't know. Yeah, he's ready. Prabhu, you didn't tell
Well,
me?
why don't you tell me ahead of time?
I had told to Tarka Prabhu.
Well, Tarka didn't tell me.
So they all come. They're all good. All batches.
Can you put these chips? So whose birthday is it? Who? Gupta. Gupta Kongagala. Where is Gupta? Here is Gupta with his Jagannath sweatshirt. Haribo. Gupta is 12 years old today. He's a little bit big for his age, but that's all right. Haribo. Gupta is a very brave servant of Krishna. He has taken the task for the last couple of years of training our young boys. You have to be brave to do that. And we want to thank you very much. And his young boys collected $900 for the new farm. Here's some of them right here. Not one of them smokes marijuana. That means Gupta has trained them very well. Hare Krishna. So, how old are you today? 37 years old. Whoa. The temperature is going up. So we want to wish you a very happy birthday. We pray that Radha and Krishna protect you and your wonderful family, and that you always remain in Seattle chanting Hare Krishna, even though you work in Utah. So let's have your birthday now. Come over here. Where is there a candle? Candle for the cake. Candle for the cake. Candle and fire. And today we're going to give graduation presents to our Discover Yourself students. This is a wonderful course you can take. It's based on Bhagavad Gita, and you can discover that you have an eternal soul and you have an eternal destiny in this wonderful course. It's an 8-session course. Doesn't cost anything except your time and attention. So we're going to ask the Discover Yourself students to come forward. First we're going to do the cake. Yeah, they're going to cut it down. Is the candle there? Is the fire there? Is the candle lit? Okay, so we will start giving out the gifts. Go ahead. Okay, candle is there. Light the candle. It's a wonderful thing to celebrate your birthday in the temple. You get the Ashirbad not only of Radha Krishna, Gaur Nitai, Jagannath Subhadra Baladev, Nrsimha, Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagavan, and Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, and the entire parampara, including Prabhupada, but you get the blessings of everyone present, especially on a Sunday night. We have 800 to 1,000 people. So let's all give our Gupta Prabhu a big Haribol. 1, 2, 3. Haribol! One more time. Haribol! One more time. Haribol! Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna, dear Gupta Prabhu. Hare Krishna, to you. Haribol, Haribol. Okay, now we want everyone to give Gupta a big hug, but don't break his ribs in the meantime. Okay. Yeah.
Prabhu will give. So I would request all the DYS graduate to come this side. Just come this side, please. So there are 3 groups who are graduating this week. So we had Bellevue, Redmond, and Sammamish. And as Harivilas Prabhu was telling, this is the certificate which can really liberate you. This puts you on the path to liberation. So without further delay, I will invite Srinivas Gopal Prabhu to please come and give the certificates. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. You give the certificate. You give it to Prabhu. Okay. Prabhu, go ahead. Go ahead.
You have to say the name first.
Yeah.
Serena Mataji.
Serena Mataji. Yeah, Prabhu. Photos. Just.